this very small project and it ballooned to what it is now. But before we even get into this video, I'm gonna need everyone watching to like and share this video, okay? Because I did do all of this for free and it wasn't easy, okay?
We do not care.
NFL Pro Era is a great game. I love playing it, but it lacks one fundamental component, and that's its multiplayer looks hot garbage. It looks like hot garbage. Although they have recently dropped a second game that includes a multiplayer where you can actually play against a live opponent, you're still not able to play defense. You're still not able to play any other position other than quarterback. And the player models are floating pads, hands, and little teeny tiny helmets that make you look like a 5-year-old. So, with this being said, I decided to make a VR football game myself. So hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today I've set myself on an ambitious challenge to create a full-fledged VR game that includes everything NFL Pro Era doesn't, for free and in 24 hours. That's right.
What did you say?
I'm not crazy. Well, okay, no, I might be crazy. You're not crazy, and I am stupid because I said what I just said. 24 hours free. I'm not doing this for money. I just really want a good VR football game to play.
Yeah, that brother's starving.
And it's either this, Big Ballers VR, or the NFL Pro Era game, of which I'm still gonna play the others, but I just wanted to do it. Before creating games, I like to outline all the key features that I have to include in the game for it to feel completed for me, to feel as if I actually made what I set out to make. So for this to really be a VR football game, or at least a multiplayer version of one, I'd like for it to have multiplayer functionality. I'd like for you to be able to square off against your friends. I'd like for there to be a way to tackle people, have a collision system with the football and the bodies and the ground. I'd love for there to be NPCs on the benches and in the crowd for you to feel immersed and like you're actually in a stadium and it's not just like an empty model. Sounds, obviously, locker rooms that you could go into that actually have a reason for you to go into them. They're not just things that are there. A way to change the uniforms yourself so that I don't end up having to make a bunch of uniforms myself. I could kind of just make a menu where you go and choose the color of your uniforms. That would also be something I want to add. Hand tracking, I'll try it, why not? And yeah, name plates so that like your name shows up on the back of your jersey or on top of your head or something. And I'd love to make it to where people who do full body tracking in my game, which is also a thing I want to add, could like legitimately, I don't know why I want to add this, it's such a weirdly specific thing, but I want to make it so that if you have full body tracking, you could legitimately like kick a field goal. Like you could have collisions on the foot and like kick the ball through the field goal post as if you were kicking on a normal, like, and have the physics be good and everything. So hopping into it, the first thing we have to do is model out our player models, find out what they're gonna look like, model out our football stadium. I was about to say NFL, which I'm not gonna say because I don't know the legal ramifications of what I'm doing right now. Even though it's free, we're just gonna be on the same thing. Okay. After modeling everything out, I really just took everything into Unity and started messing around with the physics in my world and finding out what actually felt like football. And as you'll find out later in this video, a big problem that I faced later on down the line is making it too realistic and too much like football to the point where it wasn't playable. So after messing with it for hours on end, I got to the point where I realized I was gonna have to prioritize function over fashion, in this sense of there was no way I could possibly get a football to move as fast as a football does in real life when you throw it, and normally, without the amount of latency that exists in creating a multiplayer game on servers, especially when you're doing it for free. Pay me. Servers have an indistinguishable amount of lag and latency regardless of how good the servers you purchase are. And what I mean by saying that is, regardless of what servers I use, 2K is a good example. No matter how expensive of a game company you are, what servers you use, there will always be people who are playing in Australia, in America, in the UK, Africa, Sweden, all these different places, and when you attempt to merge all their pings to one server, you're inevitably gonna have a little bit of milliseconds in between interactable items that everyone can use. My solution for that problem was to, one, add a trail to the ball so that you could see it very easily in the air and it wasn't that hard to track with your human eyes. 2, slow it the fuck down. I had to decimate the gravity of the entire stadium by half, and then further decimate the ball's gravity by, I think, 0.25 to make it to where the humans, when they jump and are running, are way slower, and they last longer in air. Buttonhole jumping system that made it to where if you swing your arms when you jump, you go higher. 2, if you hold the button longer, you go higher and stay longer in the air, making it a lot cooler to get like some Odell Beckham type catches where you kind of jump up and someone jumps up with you but doesn't get as high, and you kind of just catch it over them, just bean top the shit out.
What do you mean by that?
And I shout out a game that I play a lot and happen to be a top active creator for, a gym class, because that is where that idea stemmed from. The idea that they used to have in their game whenever I first started playing it, back when it was only a beta game, playing it back then compared to now, they've slowly ramped up the speed of their game, because back then the player characters move very, very slowly. I see why they did that gameplay wise after developing my own game. 2, the ball, whenever it hit the rim, whenever you used to play that game, its speed would get completely decimated, and there would be very unrealistic basketball physics when it came to the ball hitting the rim, but it made for funner gameplay because you could make shots that you couldn't make in real life. After that, it was just me tacking on all the other things that I wanted for atmosphere. After getting through that, it started to look like a real game. Okay, it started to look kind of crazy. Then I got some game testers in, I got them in to test the game, and then after testing the game, figuring out what was working and what wasn't working, I also got them to make a trailer, of which is already on my channel, and I'll put up in the exclamation. If you look at the top right, it's popping up now. That's the video. I'll also leave it linked in the description, and it'll probably be at the end of this video if you want to go see the trailer of the game and figure out how to download it and play it yourself. It's a really fun game, so I suggest to go do that. And this is the finished project.
BR Football Showdown.
Hey,